my shirt.
I'll let you know.
I have all I need. He lets me have rest.
Do you see me moving it? I'm trying to move it. Actually, tell me if you can hear me talking, because
even when I walk through darkness so deep,
okay, how's that?
I will not be afraid. He's fighting for me. I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. I know you're beside me, remembering me. You're there when I'm hiding, setting me free. I will give it all away to keep you with me, to feel your warm embrace, my crucified King. I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. I know you're beside me, remembering me. You're there when I'm hiding, setting me free. I will give it all away to keep you with me, to feel your warm embrace, my crucified King.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Lifeline Worship. I'm Pastor Stephen, youth pastor here at the Avon Park Seventh-day Adventist Church. It's my prayer tonight that as you watch Lifeline Worship, that you are blessed and that you encounter God in a new way. And it's our prayer here at Lifeline Worship that you will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. God bless. Take care.
Hi guys, my name is Melissa and I recently graduated from the Advent Health University from the Occupational Therapy Assistant Program, and I have some questions to answer for you guys. So the first question is, to describe your experience these last few months before graduation. Before graduation, I would say these past few months have been were hectic, especially because we were basically trying to finish a lot of stuff and then trying to prepare for our internships. So that was hard. And once the pandemic started, it kind of just made everything a little bit harder because our clinical sites where we were at, we had to stop going to those like midway through, and many of us didn't have like enough hours, so we were trying to figure out how we were going to complete those hours, how we were going to make up labs, but we figured it out, so that was good. What has been the hardest part about this experience? That's a tough one. I guess I would have to say the hardest part about this experience was just the uncertainty and not knowing what was going to happen next. I mean, things were pretty hectic before the pandemic, and then after, it just made things uncertain because we didn't know how we were going to finish our clinical hours, what's going to happen for our level 2 internships. So there was a lot of things that we didn't know, and though we still don't know, we are figuring it out. And what have you learned from this time? What I learned from this time is basically to be patient and wait. It's hard, very hard, because we want answers right away, but I learned that it's okay not to have the answers right away. You don't have to know everything right then and there. It'll come, and we just need to be patient. What are your goals now after this milestone? My goals now would be to do great on my internship and pass my board's exam. And after that, I of course want a job, and I'm actually really hoping to get a job within the VA hospital system. So that would be my goal after this. And if I knew that this was happening, what would I have said to myself at the beginning? It's also pretty tough. Not really sure how to answer that. And I guess it would be to be more prepared. There was a time where I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish my clinical hours on time after this pandemic started, and I had actually gone to the ER, which the doctor told me, of course, quarantine for 2 weeks, even though the test came back negative. So and I was gonna have 2 weeks where I wasn't gonna be able to get to my clinical site. So I was pretty worried about that and what I would finish, but I kept in contact with my professor. I guess if I would have known that was gonna happen, I would have planned ahead of time and been able to make up those hours sooner than I actually did, because I ended up making up those hours during finals week, which didn't turn out too bad, but it wasn't ideal. So if I had known all this was gonna happen, I would have been okay, I need to get this done sooner. And that's about it. Bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Priya. I am Steven's little sister and I'm a senior this year. And so Steven wanted me to answer a few questions and just talk about how my experience has been. So the first question is, describe your experience these last few months before graduation. I'd say these past few months before graduation have definitely been unexpected. I think all of us going into this year, whether you were a senior or not, did not expect for it to end like this. But I feel like it's just been a lot of adjusting and just getting used to the new norms these past few months. But in general, I feel like it's been all right. What was the hardest part about this experience? The hardest part about this experience, I feel like, has been just the regret that I have. I feel like I'm the kind of person that is kind of like I don't enjoy the moment. I think I go, that I just forget that there's so much more than just getting an assignment done, going to school. I feel like I really wish that I had stopped and taken more time to just appreciate everything. I mean, being with my friends, being around my teachers, being around in my school community. I feel like I have had a hard time just regretting not enjoying myself more. The third question is, what have you learned from this time? I think I've learned a few things. One would be to, like I said, stop and just take in everything. Don't just rush into things. And it's not even, it wasn't even my choice. I mean, this pandemic has, I think, made everybody just stop and think and take time for themselves. So I think it's taught me that, to just appreciate the quiet moments. Secondly, I think it's also taught me that we are not in control of our lives. I mean, we always like to plan things out and have everything set in stone, but in reality, it's not our decision. Sometimes there's a different plan and we just got to see through it and pray for wisdom and strength. And so I feel like that's just what it's been, is there's just been a lot of disappointment, I think, on my end, and for, I think, all of us seniors, and even people who aren't seniors. I think just a lot of disappointment of not having this year turn out the way that we wanted it to. I mean, we all said that 2020 was going to be our year, and look at where we are now. I mean, I don't even know what date it is. So, what are your goals after this milestone? I plan on going to college. I plan on going to Andrews University. You know, I'm definitely not the kind of person, if you were to ask me, like, what exactly do you want to do with your life? I probably couldn't tell you. But I do want to go to college, and I plan and I hope to become a speech pathologist. So, you know, hit me up in the next 5 years and maybe I'll be a speech pathologist. And the last question is, what would you have said to yourself at the beginning of the school year if you knew it would play out like this? If I knew that this is how my senior year would end, I would have told myself to enjoy it. To enjoy it more than you did. I feel like all of my high school years, these past 4 years, I've always had a hard time with just adjusting and kind of figuring myself out. I went to 2 different schools. My freshman and sophomore year, I went to one school, and then my junior and senior year, I went to a new school. And I feel like those 3 years were really hard for me, and I feel like it was only my senior year that I started to really just let go and be happy and enjoy school. I feel like I really started to become the person that I wanted to be, and I feel like that, I think that's what hit the hardest for me, was just, this was one of the best years of my life, I feel, and now it's gone. But if I had to tell myself one thing, it would be to spend time with more of your friends, go to more school activities, even if you didn't want to. Just make more memories, and yeah, and I'm gonna miss it. I'm definitely gonna miss my senior year, but I know that not only me, but everyone else, we all have something forward to look to, whether it be college or whatever you guys do with your life, whatever we all do with their life. I know that there's something big ahead, and so I think that's what I've been holding on to, is just the future. And so yeah, that's all the questions, but I just want to say congratulations to all the seniors of this year, class of 2020. I know that it's been difficult, but we got it, and it's only going to get better from here. Bye.
1 Peter 5:6-9 says this: Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him, because he cares for you. Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being experienced by your brotherhood throughout the world. Right now is a very uncertain time for a lot of us, and I think it can be incredibly hard to practically trust it all to God, and maybe that's not true for all of us, and I can speak for myself that sometimes uncertain times are very trying, and I have to pause to understand what it means to practically cast all of my anxieties on to God and know that he really does care. For me, sometimes it comes in a encouraging conversation with a friend, and sometimes faith building comes through singing God's truths like this and singing about trusting it all to him. So I pray that we will pray this together with every breath, with every word that we speak, with every step, and with every heartbeat. So let's sing this. every breath, with every word, with every breath, with every word I speak, with every step, with every heartbeat. Jesus, let it be for you only, my whole life, all for your glory, all for your glory. My life is in your hands, my life is in your hands. I trust it all, I trust it all to you. My dreams and all my plans, I trust it all, I trust it all. Forever I am changed, I'll never be the same because of your love, because of your love. Forever I am changed, I'll never be the same because of your love, because of you, Jesus. Because of you, Jesus. For all my days, for all my days, God, you are my guide. I give you all, my heart is open wide. Jesus, let it be for you only, my whole life, all for your glory, all for your glory. And my life is in your hands, I trust it all, I trust it all to you. My dreams and all my plans, I trust it all, I trust it all. Forever I am changed, I'll never be the same because of your love, because of your love. Forever I am changed, I'll never be the same because of your love, because of you, Jesus. Because of you, Jesus. You are everything. You are everything, everything you are. All I need, all I need. I am forever in love with you. Forever in love with you. Everything, everything you are. All I need, all I need. I am forever in love with you. Forever in love, 'cause my life is in your hands. I trust it all, I trust it all to you. My dreams and all my plans, I trust it all, I trust it all. Forever I am changed, I'll never be the same because of your love, because of your love. Forever I am changed, I'll never be the same because of your love, because of you, Jesus. Because of you, Jesus.
Hey guys, my name is Nathan Beatrice and I attended Southern Adventist University. I just graduated with a BS in biology and minors in chemistry and management. So this has definitely been a really weird situation for me. I never really thought anything like this was going to happen this year, especially this drastic. We got an email the night before we got kicked out of class in campus that classes were going to resume after spring break just as usual, and obviously that didn't happen. So definitely the hardest thing about this whole situation for me was missing out on all those things that we're looking forward to for so long. Spring break trips, campouts, end of the year events, showing my parents where I've been living my life for the last 4 years. I thought that would have been really cool. I come from California, so going all the way to Tennessee was quite a change for me. But most of all, I would say that there were a lot of people, really good friends that I never got to say goodbye to. And I saw them for the last time, and I didn't know at the time. And so that really sucks. And I wish things were different, but they're not. And it just is what it is. Also, this summer was the one summer where I didn't have to take classes or have any programs to take. So I was really looking forward to taking advantage of this one last summer, but obviously that hasn't gone as planned. And one thing I've learned from this whole situation, though, is that we tend to make plans for our lives, and we get really disappointed or even frustrated when things don't go as we planned. But I don't think we should put our faith in our own will, but in that of God's. And that's a really hard thing to accept, especially when things are out of your control. But our satisfaction tends to be dictated by our expectations. And we shouldn't let that rob us of living a happy and healthy life. Like, living a life with gratitude has really helped me out. And I know that we tend to focus on all the negative things that happen in our lives, but rarely do we ever think of all the things that didn't go wrong. And those really are blessings. Like, for example, the health of my family. I mean, that's not something you really think about too often. You're like, oh, they're just living life as usual. But, like, honestly, anything can happen to any of us. But we don't really focus on that too often. So learning to count my blessings on the daily has really been a game changer for me. And I know that in the end, it'll all be well. And so right now it's just really hard, because this is not how we wanted things to go. I've really learned to have peace with what God's plan is for my life and try to live a life by faith. And it really is a struggle, but it's something I've been really working on. And so now that I'm done with undergrad, I'll be attending medical school in the fall at Loma Linda University. So I'm really excited, but I still have a long way to go. And if I knew that things would have turned out this way, I would have made sure that I treated many of the interactions I had with my friends like it was going to be the last, instead of just waiting for the end of the school year to roll around, because that never did. Anyways, I hope you guys have a blessed day, and be safe out there. See ya.
Your love is devoted, like a ring of solid gold, like a vow and it's tested, like a covenant of old. And your love is enduring through the winter rain and beyond the horizon, with mercy for today. Faithful you have been, and faithful you will be. You pledge yourself to me, and it's why I sing your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. You father the orphan, your kindness makes us whole, and you shoulder our weakness, and your strength becomes our own. Now you're making me like you, clothing me in white, bringing beauty from ashes. For you will have your bride, free of all her guilt, ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips.
My name is Sir Tejada Barajas, and I graduated from South Florida State College as a high school senior. And this is my high school story. So the beginning of my senior year was pretty normal. I went to my high school classes, did my vocational college class. It was pretty chill, but you know, the last couple of months it's been kind of weird. I had to stay home, do a whole bunch of online classwork. Had to stay up till like 4 in the morning doing Spanish, but it was pretty all right. So the hardest part of my senior year was staying up late doing Spanish because I was put into Spanish kind of late, so I had to do a whole year of Spanish in one semester. And so I would stay up till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning just trying to get it done, and I hadn't done it like in 3 weeks, so I was like super far behind. So I'd stay up till like 5-6 o'clock in the morning just getting it done, but I got it done on like the last day it was due. And then it was kind of hard also that I couldn't really go out, have fun with like some of my friends. Yeah. So I just graduated high school, and my goals after that is to stay local and get my prereqs done. The reason why I'm staying local is so I can save some money. I want to do physical therapy because at first I was studying cybersecurity in a vocational class, and I didn't really like it. It's kind of boring, and I came across physical therapy, and I could see myself doing that for the rest of my life. It was pretty fun, active, could help people, so I kind of like that kind of stuff. So yeah. So I went to 4 different high schools. One was Avon Park High School, Georgia Cumberland Academy, Walker Memorial Academy, and then I stayed and graduated from South Florida State College. And my take on from that was that, or my lesson from that, I should say, is that I was kind of already used to the change, so this pandemic didn't really affect me as much. I was chill with it, and so if I could go back to my future self, or to my to my 9th grade self, I'd probably tell him to like not goof off as much and to take things more seriously. But like I can't, or you can goof off, just like know when to, because like the habits that you create now are just gonna like kind of affect you in your future. So as this video ends, I want to thank my dad and my mom for always helping me out through everything that I needed, supporting me, making sure I did my homework. So I want to continue my relationship with God, and I want to congratulate all the seniors, and yeah.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you, I worship you. 'Cause you're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 'Cause you're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Yeah, you're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Yeah. And even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Yeah, one time, you're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You're the way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
How's it going, everybody? It's Pastor Steve, and I hope that you've enjoyed tonight's program as we have been able to worship and celebrate the class of 2020 on their accomplishments. Thank you for the stories from those of you from class of 2020. Thank you for giving us a window into your experience and what it's been like for you. We're going to be posting more of these stories on social media throughout the weekend, and we hope that you'll be able to be impacted by them. Class of 2020, here at Lifeline Worship and at the Avon Park SDA Church, we just want you to know that you're loved, you're supported, and that you have a community of people cheering you on, community of people celebrating you and your accomplishments. And the reality is, I know the last few months have been difficult. Trips, classes, proms have all been canceled, and you may be feeling distant from your community, feeling distant from your friends, and feeling distant from the goals that you set out to accomplish at the beginning of the year. And you might not feel as though you're being able to experience a true celebration, but we want you to know that we celebrate you and we're excited for you. In class of 2020, I want you to know that these moments of adversity, these moments of difficulty, they don't define where you're going and they don't define who you are. But I believe that your power is limitless, your potential is limitless, and the power of love is alive in you. See, 9 years ago when I graduated, it it was a different time. I was a different person. And I want to share with you a little bit of some of the lessons I've learned and some bits of advice from you. But I'm going to utilize some help. Obviously, in 2020, one of the biggest tragedies that took place, and I believe the thing that maybe began for some the downward trend for 2020, was the tragic and sudden death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi as they were on a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California on January 26th. Kobe Bryant was known for many things. If you know me, I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan, a huge Laker fan. I'm devastated the season ended. We were going to win the chip. Hopefully it restarts so LeBron can finally get us that championship and get us back on top. But obviously throughout my life, I was a huge Kobe fan. From the moment Jordan retired when I was 5 years old, I put on a Kobe Bryant jersey and became a Kobe fan. And if you saw The Last Dance, you saw how they were connected in terms of their friendship and things like that. See, Kobe was known for a lot of things, right? He was known for 5 championships. He was known for All-Star Game MVPs, for winning Finals MVP. But he was known for probably most importantly the Mamba mentality, which was really built on relentless hard work, dedication, 4 a.m. workouts, and a commitment to what he was passionate about. That commitment led him to score 81 points in a game. It led him to reach the peaks in which he reached. But just like any of us, Kobe had a lot of bumps along the way. He had difficulty throughout his career and even throughout his life. And this is what he said about that. It's probably his most famous quote. He says, "Everything negative, pressures, challenges, is all an opportunity for me to rise." I'm going to repeat that again. Everything negative, pressure, challenges, is all an opportunity for me to rise. Now you may be like, wow, that's a lot of confidence. That is like cockiness. Like that's not even realistic for me, you may be thinking. But I want to tell you that being able to rise is something that you can do. It's something that you can begin to come into and live your life with that level of confidence when you begin to be focused on the right thing. So I want to invite you to the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, where Paul writes a little bit about this idea of rising up. And so my first point here is for you, class of 2020, to rise up or to rise and shine. Let's take a look at it. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 13 to 15. It says, "And since we have the same spirit of faith, according to what is written, I believed and therefore I spoke. We also believe and therefore speak, knowing that he who had raised up the Lord Jesus will also raise us up with Jesus, and will present us with you. For all things are for your sake, that grace, having spread through the many, may cause thanksgiving to abound to the glory of God." See, this part of the Bible, Paul is talking to the church of Corinth, and he's explaining to them that in the midst of death, in the midst of fear, and everything happening around them, that there is power. And he actually says that there's treasure in what he describes as jars of clay, or some versions say earthen vessels. And he says that the excellence of the power may be of God, not of us. So he's basically saying that they may be perplexed, they may be but they won't be in despair. He said they may be persecuted, they may be hard pressed, they may be struck down, but ultimately he says that they will not be destroyed, because the faith and the power of the resurrection of Christ is working in them. And that's why I believe Paul says to us and asks us to know that the one who raised up Jesus will also be present with you. That there's power in each of us, and there's power in you, class of 2020, because of the one who resurrected before you. See, that's exciting for you. It's exciting for all of us, because it means that even though so much has gone on, even though there's uncertainty ahead of us, that we're not alone. That you have the opportunity to rise. See, the reality is, as life continues to grow, as you continue to develop, you'll realize even more that life is just full of challenges. Life is full of obstacles that seem too big. And I want to invite you, class of 2020, to know that you can rise because the power of a Christ, the power of a God that rose from the dead and provided us with life, lives within you. See, even when Christ died, those that were around him thought that they were defeated. They thought it was over. The disciples were crying. His mother was crying. Those that had walked with him felt like they wasted 3.5 years of their life for this guy that is now dead. But the reality is Sunday morning, Jesus resurrected, and what was left was just an empty tomb, an empty tomb full of possibilities for us, and an opportunity for you and I to experience resurrection, to experience being raised up. And see, as you go through your life, I invite you to rise up. I invite you to rise and shine. Rise up when you feel like you don't have anything left. Rise up when you're tired and you don't want to get out of bed because you just had an all-nighter of schoolwork. I invite you to rise up when it's difficult. Rise up and look into the eyes of Jesus and know that he's present with you. And know that the one that has risen will not let you go. So my second thing, class of 2020, is this. Don't lose heart. As you may know, throughout the career of Kobe Bryant, there were injuries that he endured during his career. Yet he somehow never seemed to let that drag him down. He never seemed to really be too worried about it. Everybody else kind of was. And he said this when he was asked about his injuries. He said, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. No matter what the injury, unless it is completely debilitating, I'm going to be the same player I've always been. And I'll figure it out. I'll make some tweaks if I have to. I'll make some changes. But the reality is, I'm still coming." See, there was a level of confidence and resilience that he had that in some ways is hard for us to believe. But class of 2020, I believe it lives inside of you, and I believe it lives inside of all of us. Just many times it's untapped. We haven't really recognized that it's in there. So I want you to come back to the text in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 really quick. We're going to be at 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16, where it says those words. "Therefore, we do not lose heart. Even though by our outer man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day." See, Paul describes that even though what is outward is falling apart, even though we feel as though we have nothing left, he says that God is at work. He says that he's renewing our inward man. Now you may be wondering, Pastor Stephen, what does inward man mean? What does that mean? It doesn't make sense. It sounds like Old English. Well, the reality is it kind of is Old English. But the reality is the inward man is really like the stuff you can't tangibly feel, right? You can't touch your mind, you can't touch your spirit, but you can touch your arms and realize they're not as buff as they were before quarantine, right? And so he says that your inward man stands in distinction to your outward man, which will perish. Our body will break down, but our spirit and our mind and our soul are the things that last beyond this. So Paul is saying, your body's going to break down. You're going to feel like you've got nothing left. You might feel like you need another Red Bull. Please don't do it. It's not worth it. Paul is saying that all of that's going to happen. But your inward being is going to be renewed because of Christ. So Paul says that you might feel like you're going down. You may feel like you don't have the mental capacity, the emotional energy to really do anything else. But Paul reminds you that you're being renewed. See, there's a quote from a popular praise song called Waymaker. And in that song, it says, even when I don't feel it, even when I can't see it, you're working. Even when we feel like we have nothing, we feel as though our tank is empty, God is building us. God is refining us, and ultimately God is growing us. We just have to continue to allow ourselves to be opened by him. We have to allow ourselves to give ourselves to God so that he can build back into us what we feel as though we don't have. See, I believe the story of resilience lives inside of the class of 2020, especially those of you that are graduating from high school. Y'all have been through a lot. You were born during 9/11, which changed the course of travel in America. Before 9/11, you were able to walk all the way to the gate and wave your family or friend off before they took a flight. But once 9/11 happened, we have to take our shoes through security. It's difficult. You can really only get to a certain point. There's so much more restrictions. And for you all, that's just normal. But it took a lot of adjusting for everybody else. Another thing you all have had to go through is economic crises. We're going through one right now, and we went through another one in 2008. That's just something that you are used to seeing. You had to endure mass shootings in schools become normal. And you began to have to practice active shooter drills and all of those things that have changed the life of many people. And what was thought to be the safest place has become a place where there's fear, which is schools. And so all these things have happened, and now you're graduating in the midst of a pandemic. You're graduating in a world with media and with iPhones and Instagram and TikTok and all these things that are different. But for each one of you, there's a resilience that I believe lives inside of you, because the situation you're in now, you were made for. You were able to deal with it, and it's something that you have had to work through your entire lives. And I believe that whatever situation comes your way down the road, you're equipped to handle it. See, if anyone tells you that you can't do something, that you have a goal and you can't reach that goal, I want you to look at them in the eye and let them know that they're wrong. Let them know that that's not true. Because each one of you is resilient. And even though you may not feel it, even though you may not see it, I want you to continue to look to the Lord. Because when you look to the Lord, He will give you that strength. In Isaiah chapter 40, it says, He will give you strength. He will mount you up with wings like eagles. So you will run and never be tired, and walk and never be faint. So class of 2020, don't lose heart. Continue to be resilient. Continue to work. Because I believe, and I believe God believes, you're destined for greatness. Finally, my third point as I close is the best is yet to come. See, when Kobe Bryant was asked what the Mamba mentality is, he said this: it means to be able to constantly try to be the best version of yourself. And it's a constant quest to try to be better today than you were yesterday. Class of 2020, I invite you to know that your tomorrow can be better than your today. That the future is very bright for you, that you're more than the things that have happened to you, that you're not defined by the difficult situations you've been. But I also want to give you a different take on this also. I want you to know that the very things that you've experienced, the very things that you have gone through, and things that make you who you are, can also be your superpower to propel you into new moments of life, can propel you into your potential, can propel you into your goals and your dreams. See, I invite you to own the power of your story, to own the power of your experiences. I invite you to own even the parts of you that you may dislike, the parts of you that you try to hide and conceal from people. I believe that those things, your story, everything you've been through, class of 2020, everything you've been through, all of those things, your story intersects with the greatest story that was ever told. That was the story of a God who breathed hope back into humanity, a Savior who walked this earth and provided us with a second chance, provided us with a way of escape so that we can know that anything that we deal with on this earth will not last forever, that we have the promise of something greater. See, Paul finishes his passage in verse 17 and 18 in chapter 4 saying this: for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal. See, Paul says that because we know that there is something better coming down the road, because we know that the best is yet to come, you, class of 2020, can continue making it through today. You can continue to push forward through anything that comes your way because the best is yet to come. Class of 2020, and anyone watching, I want to let you know that God is rooting for you. God is on your side. And God is excited for you to know that the best is yet to come, that where you are now is only a glimpse of where God desires to take you, and that's to bring you into His kingdom. So class of 2020, congratulations. And it's my prayer that as you take this step, that you will know that you've been called to rise up, to not lose heart, and to know that the best is yet to come. God bless.
The Lord is my shepherd. I have all I need. He lets me have rest in meadows of green. Even when I walk through darkness so deep, I will not be afraid. He's fighting for me. I will live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever. Live in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. I will live in the house of You're there when I'm hiding, setting me free. I will give it all away to keep you with me, to feel your warm embrace, my crucified King.